president of the group, Tokwe Osundara, says the federal government has agreed to address key demands, including payment of outstanding allowances. The doctors have given the government 2 weeks to implement the agreement or risk further action. That's amazing. That's interesting. That's wonderful. Unfortunately, we are at a time in our history where industrial action that used to be the last resort has become the only resort. The way it used to work was that dialogue was the first option on the table. You engage government, oh, there's need for better allowances, this is not good, that is not good. Government, on the other hand, is supposed to respond favorably. Now, it doesn't mean they must meet your demands, but at least there must be some middle ground. Okay, we might not be able to do this, but this is what we can do. And they need to seem like they are doing what they should. So all channels for dialogue exhausted. The last option on the table is let's go on strike. And every sector, every union, every association has gone on strike. From the last two administrations, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Buhari, particularly former President Muhammadu Buhari, I remember I started hearing some agencies I did not even know existed in Nigeria. They also went on strike. Everybody struck in Buhari's time. Now, because that strike leads to some kind of problem, government now says, okay, calm down. Let us now come to that round table. I think the problem might be that round table. They should remove it and put mat. Let everybody sit down on the floor so that we are all equal. Because even in a table, whether round or square, there's somebody that sits at the head of the table. But if you just spread mat or bedsheet on the floor, so yeah, everybody down, equality before the law, that table might be the problem. ASU knows the color of that table. They have, oh my goodness, ASU has gone on strike. In fact, I feel like ASU has the calendar for the next 3 strikes. Even when government called them to settle, they say, coming soon, November 12th. So at this point, anybody that wants to strike should go and meet ASU for some notes. How una take the duam? Say, hey, my brother, is this your first time? And once again, government always promises. We'll see what we can do. And many times you're telling government, no, it's not what you can do now. There's an agreement reached from 3, 4, 5 years ago. You say, well, that was a different government. The president just came in. We have not even settled. We're not balanced. We're still trying to see, they just removed subsidy. Say, okay, no problem. What do we now do now? Give us some time. Then they will not draft a fresh agreement. The minister of whatever ministry will sign. The president of the association or the union will sign. 25 witnesses that were present will sign. If DSS are not too busy, they will also sign. And then after 2 days, we that are now the town criers will now come on air. Well, the resident doctors have called off the strike. They say that government has promised to. Meanwhile, Nigerians are just waiting for the next strike. We're counting down. Because there's a part of you, as patriotic as you are, as optimistic as you are, there's a part of you that just knows that government will not fulfill the promise. Because this is not the first time resident doctors are going on strike. And I'm sure that for all of the times, they made promises. So how do we ensure that this time the government will fulfill its promise? Unfortunately, you can't. But when you go on strike, try to make sure some things are achieved before calling it off. What are those things, you might ask? And I'm sure that some of them are already implemented. Every resolution from the negotiation must be captured in a signed MOU with clear timelines. Such agreements should not be press statements, but legal documents signed by government officials at the highest level. Well, they already do this. This already happens. The most recent strike, Dangote versus Nupeng, there was an MOU that was signed. And 2 minutes later, Nupen claimed that Dangote had gone back on its word. 2, demand measurable timelines. Instead of vague assurances like we will look into it, unions should be specific. In 30 days. In this case, resident doctors have said 2 weeks, 14 days. I said, no, gentlemen, you need to give up 14 days. Last price. Say, okay, it's okay. 14 days. 3, include accountability mechanisms. Push for establishment of joint monitoring committees, union plus government reps to track the implementation. So if we say you are going to pay us 1 billion, you might not be able to bring out 1 billion at once. So, okay, the first batch will bring 100 million. That money will be raised within 3 months. Second batch, 300 million. We will get that from here. So there should be accountability mechanisms, processes, that a joint committee of people from your side, people from government side, and no matter the number of stakeholders sitting on the mat, remember, we're not using roundtable anymore, we'll be able to track. Use legal backing. Where possible, unions should take agreements to the National Industrial Court so that if anything happens, you can activate the judiciary. Coalition and solidarity. I'm kind of disappointed in the NLC for not backing the resident doctors this time. Because when Nupeng went on strike, the NLC were on red alert. So if the government does not, we will mobilize. We will centralize. Now the resident doctors went on strike. We didn't see the NLC mobilizing. If other unions and coalitions also lend their voice, the movement is stronger. These are some of the ways that unions can ensure that government meets their needs, meets their demands. But unfortunately, as you can tell, being a Nigerian, all of these steps have already been taken by different unions, particularly ASU. That's why I say anybody that wants to go on strike, go and meet ASU. They've done it more than anybody. I'm sure they've written books how to go on strike effectively. They will host a masterclass and it will sell out. So since we've done all this and government still does not fulfill promise, what do? We do what Nigerians will do. That is leave it in the hands of God. Because one with God is majority. So the 2 weeks have started counting. Let's see. It's your move, federal government, hopefully. We're not back here on radio speaking English again on this same subject. Finally, for the big stories, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority says the co-pilot of an Air Peace flight involved in the Port Harcourt runway incident was cleared because neither its internal investigation nor the Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau report indicted him. The June 13 incident saw the aircraft veer off the runway after landing. Investigators say the plane touched down more than 2,200 meters from the threshold, and some crew members were indicted after medical tests. NCAA spokesperson Michael Achumugu says due process was followed at NCAA-approved test centers, and the Director General, Captain Chris Najomo, is conducting further checks. Okay, so I think that all parties need to get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible. Now the NCAA has said the co-pilot was cleared, meaning there was no alcohol in his system and they didn't find any traces of drugs in his or her bloodstream. That's good. Air Peace has denied that they were cleared. The NSIB report indicts them. Say captain and crew members had things in their blood. So if that's the case, of course, the safety of passengers have been jeopardized. But we need a country, specifically a system that is thorough. If Air Peace is in the wrong, then let there be sanctions, because this directly connects to life and death. And if the NSIB report is false, hopefully investigations reveal what is right, and they will make it up to the airline for accusing their members of staff falsely. But we need to get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible, because guess what? People are flying every day. Every single day. In fact, right now, as you and I are here doing radio business, some people are in the sky. So there has to be stiff penalties for this. I have no idea why it made sense to anybody to get intoxicated before flying. Maybe it was a long time since they did the last test. Maybe they've gotten away with it a few times. So there's nothing holding them back. Say, not me now. I've been flying for years. With the run, I'm steady. This one time, it just did not work. So whatever the case is, we need to get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible. And punishment would be in the direction of whoever the offender is, so that our system can be sanitized. Because there are some things you don't play with. Those are my 2 cents. Spend them wisely. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria4PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. The big stories: Ibas urges peace, unity as Rivers State transitions back to democracy. Resident doctors suspend strike and give the federal government 2 weeks to meet demands. And the NCAA has cleared the Air Peace co-pilot in the Port Harcourt Runway incident. Please turn off your radio as you call. Chima calls from GRA. Hello, Chima. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sam.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Sam. I think the sole administrator is insulting us with such statement that he came up with. Because I'm not seeing where he said he's been able to break our peace. Of course, some of us who are in tune with what has happened and the actions he has taken ever since he came on board. We have seen him dismantling democratic structures, dissolving board and parastatal to install those that are loyal to the FCT minister. We have seen him. So if he is telling us that he has indeed fulfilled what he came here for, I don't know who is telling that. We are not charged. All of us here, we are intelligent and we know what we are doing. You understand? Had it been the appointment he made when he all through the 6 months, maybe balancing the appointment, appointed people on the other political device and the other side, we would have known that indeed what he came here for, he has been able to succeed. But ever since he came, we have seen everything he has done. He only came here to fulfill the agreement he had with the FCT minister, which is to ensure that the structure is given back to him, him and the president. That's what he came here to do, and he has fulfilled that. So he shouldn't come out one day and tell us that he came here to break us peace, that he has succeeded. And we are also waiting for him to render account of stewardship. Rivers people are eager to know how much he received from federal allocation, how much IGR was generated, and how such amounts were expended. We really need to know. He hasn't said anything about it. And if he fails to do that, I don't know. I'm sorry, because he may be called back. Because the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will not be in power forever. So a time will come when we are going to call him back to come and tell us how he spent all this money throughout these 6 months.
All right, Chairman.
He should be telling us that he has broke up peace.
Thank you very much.
Rather, he came here to fulfill the mandate that they have given, what they asked him to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chima. Clinton calls from Bori. Hello, Clinton. Good afternoon.
Sam Oracle, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My greatest joy here is that both parties have resolved. The governor have resolved to work with the FCT minister. The FCT minister have resolved to work with him as well. The assembly members have decided to work with the executive government, with the arm of government. The Rivers people are also expectant our governor to return. We are expecting him to return. From the beginning of the it was next year. It was done less than 3. There was no where the executive and the